watching Tacoma Working Mom TV. I'm Rosie Martinson, your host. In today's episode, I interviewed Monique Trudnowski, who owns Adriatic Grill by the Tacoma Mall in Tacoma, Washington, with her husband, Chef Bill. Watch this. So, let's see. So I first want to know about what you do.
Okay, so right now my husband, Chef Bill, and I are the owner-operators of the restaurant. And when people say, well, what does that mean, the owner-operator? So it means you're everything. Technically, I'm the general manager, the dinner manager currently. I have a lunch manager. But I do all of those technical things. I do all the hiring, the firing, the human resources. I also do all of the liquor, beer, and wine program in the wine bar. So all those beautiful bottles I do the ordering for.
You're busy.
I'm really busy, but I love it. I'm like a shark. I have to keep moving or I stop.
Yeah.
Marketing, I handle all the marketing, all the front desk staff, the reservations. And I just really work with Bill to make sure logistically the restaurant's where it needs to be. All the offsite marketing, things like that.
And I know you do a lot in the community.
I do.
So what are a few things that you're a part of?
Okay, well,
in Tacoma?
I guess one title I have that's not official is official cheerleader.
Yeah, fun.
I love meeting people. I love connecting people. If I see someone that has a need and I think someone else has the resource, sometimes I can't get involved, but I can at least CC them both on an email. So, but professionally, it is. Because you never know. I mean, sometimes you have to connect the dots.
Yeah.
But then officially, I'm on a couple boards. So I most recently was chair for the Tacoma Regional Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Okay.
And in a nutshell, we're the nonprofit that brings visitors to the area, whether it's leisure, whether it's conventions, things like that. So I was the chairwoman for that.
Okay.
And I'm also on Broadway Center for Performing Arts Board of Trustees.
Okay.
I was recently elected.
Pantages.
Yeah, the Pantages.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Hello.
I love that theater.
Yeah.
I saw Peter Frampton there.
What?
And he's amazing, and I fell in love with him. But I fell in love not with today's Peter Frampton.
Yeah.
But 1960s
Oh,
Peter
totally.
Frampton with his long hair.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He was really hot in the 60s.
Oh, he was really hot. And then you meet him, you're like, are you his
What
dad?
happened? Yeah. But it's really cool when you blow into that guitar and it makes that sound.
Yeah. So I love Broadway Center. Less sexy, but more important is TPU, Tacoma Public Utilities. I'm on that board.
We all need power.
We need power. We need flat irons.
Right.
We need microwaves for the baby bottles.
Right.
We need dishwashers for 12-year-olds.
Right. Yes.
So we need all that. So Tacoma Public Utilities, I've learned a lot. And then I'm also the honorary vice commander for the Western Air Defense Sector. And they watch the skies. Isn't that?
Yeah.
It's
really
like
interesting.
Travel to arts to, groundwater to the Air Force.
Wow.
And that to me as a mom and a wife is important because every time my son flies to Spokane, often by himself, he visits his grandparents. I mean, they keep our skies safe.
Yeah.
And so it's really, there's a lot of women. There's a lot of women in the WADs, as we call it.
Yeah.
And they're moms. They work full time. It's interesting to talk to them post 9/11. They basically created this babysitting network. Because the moms that were on radar and had to watch the screen couldn't leave, and they had 9 and 10-year-olds. So some of the wives of the other officers and enlisted men created this babysitting network to help the women working there. It's an incredible story.
I'm going to Google it so I
you have
know
to Google
more about it. So I know you work with Chef Bill, your husband, and I'm sure it's difficult separating your work life and your personal life and your family life and your me time. So one thing I want to know is how do you connect with Chef Bill? And do you always call him Chef Bill?
Oh my gosh!
I'm
so glad you asked that.
Do you ever call him Bill or Billy?
I call him other words we can't say.
Hey, honey.
No, I call him other 4-letter. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. This is a family-friendly vlog.
Yes, family-friendly show.
It's interesting because we often joke we're together 7 days a week in this closet of an office.
Yeah.
I think people imagine our office being lavish. It's an old dry storage that we gutted out and basically turned into this little tiny place.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, we want the beautiful parts for our guests and for our other, support staff.
Yeah. That's where you invest your resources.
Yeah. It's like I can take the small office.
Yeah.
So we're together 7 days a week, and you know what the funny thing is? I just can't get enough of him.
Oh,
because
I love that.
It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll work from 8 a.m. till 10 o'clock at night, and I'll look at him and say, now let's go just grab a bite to eat somewhere.
Yeah.
Because it is a different switch.
Yes.
If you looked on my favorites I saved on my computer, you would see every blog and podcast about how to work with your husband.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is a work in progress.
Yeah.
And I've met quite a few husband and wife teams that some of them, it didn't work out for them.
Yeah.
And there's some in Tacoma and Pierce County that actually, they're still business partners, they're not married, and they're best friends.
Yeah.
But fortunately for Bill and I, we both have a strong background in restaurants and hospitality, and we both have different skill sets.
That's great.
I can't cook. I
Right.
hate cooking.
Yeah.
I hate it. But guess what? I love wines. I love learning about wines. I love the pronunciations. I love,
Yeah.
the history of liquor. I love human resources marketing. So while I do those things, he's all about the food. Now, as far as Chef Bill,
Yeah.
he never asked me to call him Chef Bill. So from day one, I was introducing him to some guests, and I introduced him as Chef Bill.
Yeah.
And I decided that, you know what? He is a chef, and out of respect for what he does.
Yeah.
And
That's his title.
That's his title.
Yeah.
It's
like Dr. John.
Yeah, Dr. John,
Yeah.
exactly.
Chef Bill.
So I've always called him Chef Bill in the four walls.
Yeah.
And we have employees that sometimes after working for us for like a month,
Yeah.
they'll say, I didn't know it was your husband. I'm like, well, yeah, it is.
I don't think I knew that the first time I came into the
Are you
restaurant
serious?
until my husband told me. Yeah,
Oh,
I don't
my
think I did
gosh.
know that when I first met you.
But it's tough. It's not all cherries and roses. I mean, because the passion that we have for our family and everything else, it's in the four walls. And I
Yeah.
mean, there's times that we'll have major debates.
Yeah.
And we have to remember that at the end of the day, we walk out, we're still married.
Right.
One time I can be pretty intense, as you can imagine,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Let's be surprised.
You have a strong
I have a strong
personality.
personality.
Yeah.
And I was just really going after him. And a couple hours later, I thought, you know what? I have to respect the fact that this is a man who has taken over 300 to 400 employees from the ranks of dishwasher to cook to line cook to sous chef. I mean, he has a lot of skills, even before he met me.
Definitely. Yeah.
So I called him on the phone and I said, hey, honey. And he said, what? And I said, oh, this is your wife. I heard your business partner was being really difficult today.
Aw,
And
yeah.
I just want to tell you that I love you no matter what. And you got to hang in there. Because
so nice.
she's a really great business partner, but sometimes
Yeah.
she's intense. So I'll see you when you get home.
Yeah.
And he walked in the front office and went, okay, all
That's
right.
hard to do, but sometimes when you're having an argument or fight with your husband, you just have to say to yourself, this is not the end of the world.
It's not.
It's really not. There are so many more important things in
Yep.
life, and tomorrow this won't even matter.
It's
right?
true.
So
And
that was really nice of you.
and conceding that, sometimes thinking through it, because I'm so reactionary, is that,
Yeah.
you know what, his point actually is really good.
Yeah.
Being
Yeah.
co-owner operators is tough.
Yeah.
Because in any organization, you'll have that one point person, that CEO, that final decision maker.
Yeah.
And it's tough sometimes because there are things I have to say, he's the final word.
Right.
Or I'm the final word. And
Right.
so I think it only took us 3 years to figure that out. We've
Yeah.
been here now for 7 years this summer.
Yeah.
But the first 3 years was really figuring out whose role was what, who's going to be the final say in what.
Yeah.
And that is not only beneficial for our working relationship, it's beneficial for the guests and the crew members because it's not confusing to them.
Right.
It's like going to mom and dad.
Yeah.
Your son
Right.
that says,
Yeah,
well,
that's true.
dad said I could do this. Working with your husband's a lot like that.
Yeah. And what about your kids? How many kids
What
do you
about 'em?
have?
No, I'm
What
just
ages?
kidding, I'm kidding.
What ages are they?
So we have 4 sons and 2 daughters. When Bill and I were married, we both had 2 kids each.
Okay.
So Bill had Tyler, who's 25, and Stuart, who's 20.
Okay.
And then I have Buddy, who's 20, and my daughter Anna, who's 19.
Okay.
And then together we have Frankie, who's 12.
Okay.
And Sophia is the surprise baby. She's 5.
Aw.
So 25 to 5 is our range.
Yeah.
It's weird going to Costco and buying a laptop or something for your son in college and then buying diapers.
Right.
It's,
Yeah.
and the kids hate it because they'll go
Yeah.
places with us and they'll have a little sister and someone will say, is that your kid? They're like, no.
Oh my gosh.
But
yeah.
you know what?
Yeah. It's nice to have the help.
It is nice to have the
Yeah.
help. And I have to tell you
You
what.
probably never had to pay a babysitter.
Well, I had to pay them in other ways.
Well, that's
believe
true, you
me.
pay the kids,
You
yeah.
pay the kids.
Yeah.
It was the first Christmas the 4 oldest ones were gone this last month.
Yeah.
And I really took for granted, and I will say
Yeah.
it on record, how much the older kids really mentor and help their little brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
I was like taking apart Barbies and putting
Aw.
batteries in walkie-talkies. And
Yeah.
that's, in a big family, that's kind of what your older brothers and sisters do.
Yeah.
They're not
Yeah.
always happy about it.
Yeah.
But, they did that for their brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
They helped decorate the tree, and it
Yeah.
was really kind of eye-opening.
Yeah.
Having a small business means that your kids are here with you.
That's great.
They're
You can
rolling
have your
napkins.
family involved.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
It
love
is.
that. So how do you connect the two you have at home, Frankie and Sophia? How do you connect with them outside of work?
I think that the biggest thing is being involved with their school. I mean, they both are at St. Pat's on the North End. And being involved with their school means I'm seeing them in the halls, whether it's volunteering for Grandparents' Day or making sure we drive them to school every day. I mean, that's really important. I think that we have a lot of great support now too. I mean, my mom is a lunch manager. You met my dad. He's here every morning opening up.
Yes.
One of my good friends over 20 years, Randy's our bookkeeper. We have a catering coordinator. So I think building up that support staff now so that at least we can take Sundays off, half day, is connecting. But being really, those middle teenagers really saw a lot. I mean, when we were struggling as a small business owner, they slept on the benches. They were here doing homework till 10 o'clock at night because we couldn't leave. And it's funny, but having a big family like that, we have two things we've done. The first is we have what we call teen night, even though they're not teens. So the first teen night, Bill and I took the 3 middle ones to Seattle. We took them to Experience Music Project, and we try to do things that were more centered around their age group. And we left the little ones with a babysitter.
You have to do that. You have to connect in the way that they can relate to all the different age groups. Date nights.
Date nights with your teens is important. And they hated it, and they didn't engage, and they kind of engaged. But you know what? 2 years later, they still talk about it.
They appreciated it.
And they talk about how dorky we were, but you know what? It's a memory, whether good or bad.
And it was you showing your kids that you were taking time out for them, out of your schedule.
It's true, and even if we try to take them to like Red Robin or something without the little ones, I think they appreciate that we do that. And then the 2 little ones, we go bowling. We love to take them bowling at Chalet Bowl with Proctor and, support other family businesses.
One of your passions is politics, and you're running for office.
It is. Well, my passion isn't politics. My passion is helping people.
Because
I'm not a career politician. And I am. I'm so excited that I announced I'm running for state representative in the 28th legislative district. And it's the craziest thing I've ever done. It's Lakewood and a little bit of North Tacoma. It's University Place. It's DuPont. It's Stillicum. It's a slice, kind of a span away off of 224th. This really funny piece. But you know what? I have 6 kids, and my legacy is I'm leaving them the legacy of Washington State. If they choose to be small business owners, if they choose to serve in the military, which one of them has done, if they choose to be educators, which one of them might do, our state is our legacy if they choose to stay here. And I have to tell you the direction the state's going, there's some things that I don't agree with. And you can't change that direction unless you change who you send to Olympia. And there are some career politicians, but what I hope to bring is the voice of a small business owner who has had 1 car, who's a 25-year-old car with 6 kids and having to take the bus with the baby. I mean, that's the experience I bring. And it's real life experience. I also bring the experience of being.
You know what the price of milk is.
You know what the price of milk is. You know that. What happens when you take your daughter to high school and she's just not connecting with those teachers. So she chooses to go to School of the Arts, which is a public school. I mean, there's so many real life experiences that I'd just like to have a seat at the table to say, have you talked to this person? Have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? And it's a passion of mine. It really is. So I'm excited. It's scary. You know what? Being a mom and being a candidate, you have to think of things that male candidates would think of.
That's true.
It's true. I mean, my dresses, my shirts. Am I wearing too much eyeliner? I'm being totally serious. Am I, doing this to somebody and they're going to be offended by it? I mean, it's very interesting.
There's that guilt that people could maybe put on you or that you feel that you try to set aside and realize that what you're doing is for your family.
It's for my family.
And you know that you've taken those date nights and that time and that quality time with your family. And so you have to feel good about that.
It is. I do feel good about it. But you know what?
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I did have to have someone tell me you can't have leopard as your campaign color. But leopard's a color. What do you mean? I love leopard.
Thank you, Monique, for coming on the show today. And thank you for watching Tacoma Working Mom TV. I hope you'll check out Adriatic Grill and my vlog, TacomaWorkingMom.com. Subscribe for updates so you don't miss an episode. Have a great week.